York's classic rock, Q1043.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Jonathan Clark in the studio with the band known as Gizmodrome. I will pan the cameras, guys, so everybody can see who we're talking about. We have Stewart Copeland, founder of the Police, member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as well as many other cool things like movie soundtracks, operas, ballets, Oysterhead. Yep. I mean, the list goes on and on. Adrian, Belew. Oh, my God, truly one of the most amazing guitar players on the planet today, who you know from his own solo work with King Crimson, the Talking Heads, David Bowie, Frank Zappa, Nine Inch Nails. That list goes on as well. What an honor to have both of you guys in here. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Well, thanks for having us here.
You got it. So we have to mention the other half of the band here. We have Mark King from Level 42 on bass, right?
That's him sitting right here.
He's right here. He's here in spirit. I see him. Yeah, he's there. And then
Atta-go, boy.
Vittorio Cosma on keyboards.
Right here.
And Stewart, you have known Vittorio, or Vito, I think you call him.
Yes.
For quite a long time. Get a little bit closer to that mic there, too.
Yes, Vittorio and I go way back to playing in Italy in the summer. We just go there for recreation, to play the piazzas, open-air concerts under the Italian sky in the summer.
What a life you have.
Oh, my God. No agenda, no anything. No,
pasta,
the
wine.
agenda is pasta. That's it. But one day we decided to record a record, and that's where Adrian came in.
Yeah, so this was not an album recorded by email. You guys actually went to a studio. And tell us about this studio in Milan.
Well, what's interesting about all this is that people are so surprised. Why have you got that look on your face? All we did was go into a studio and at the same time as each other.
Right.
And it's like everybody
old
said,
school.
Wow,
yeah, they call that old school now.
Yeah.
Well, people might be surprised because we're doing a Facebook Live to see you actually holding a guitar because, right. See, now you know why guys play guitar.
I totally know why guys play guitar now.
Because
I've been banging away on the drums, and drums are good fun, but look.
Yeah. Less equipment to carry, right?
Well, except you got to carry the guitar.
You do have to do the gig
drums,
bag on the back.
Yeah, with drums, you don't have to carry anything.
Right.
You got a crew for that. But with this guitar, I find myself going through the airport carrying a guitar, and people are looking at me. Oh, are you a musician? I don't get that. I usually just walk by anonymously.
And both of you guys know this. When you're trying to start a band, drummers are hard to find, bass players are hard to find, but one thing that's not hard to find, guitar players.
I beg to differ.
Really?
I dispute that notion. There's only one halfway decent guitarist I know of, and he's sitting right there.
Adrian Belew, of course.
Okay, Trey rocks, Andy rocks, there's a bunch of guys that rock, but guitar is the hardest to find.
Yeah.
By the way, we didn't start this band.
You didn't?
No. They asked me to come over to Milan to have fun in Italy and play maybe on 3 or 4
and you're
tracks.
like, sure, well, I'll be there tomorrow, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'll come over. Yeah, we'll sit out in the sun and we'll eat pasta, yeah. And then, a couple of days in, I recognized that I wasn't playing guitar on tracks. I was playing guitar on basic tracks. All of us playing together. And that meant, wait a minute. Aren't I supposed to be playing funny sounds and making wild notes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
No, I don't play on basic tracks. I'm not that guy. Oh, yes, you are, because you're in a band now.
And the band is Gizmodrome. It's Stewart Copeland and Adrian Belew. Stewart, I saw one of the videos on the band's Facebook page where you say this all started, as you were saying, Adrian, kind of as a fun thing, kind of like, let's see what happens. And then here you guys are now. You're actually doing like a radio promo tour.
Our first.
Does this bring back memories? I mean, from the old days, the 80s and stuff where you had to go and sell your wares at radio stations and things like that?
Used to be, you'd bring maybe an acoustic guitar. Well, today we've got, we're electrified here.
Yeah. The technology is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But this here, you guys, you have a full album. You're doing like Facebook Live. You're doing videos on YouTube. And it looks...
We're not done yet.
And you're not done. You're just starting. But you're having fun. That's the main thing, right?
That was the main thing I thought about making the record. A couple of days into making the record, I realized I was having a ball. And it showed in the music. And that's why, of course, then when we said, can we play this live and be a band, I said, sure.
And I read something that you said. You said this kind of reminds you of like Talking Heads kind of stuff, right?
Well, it does when I went, in the sense that when I went and played with Talking Heads on the record Remain in Light, it was very much the feeling that I got in the room making Gizmodrome.
Yeah.
Where it just seemed like everything, these are Stewart's songs, and every song that they put up for me to try something on, I had a million ideas, and it was really fun and easy for me to fall right into.
And it sounds like, I don't know, do I hear a little like Zappa kind of stuff maybe going on in some
Well, I
of
was
the...
kind of hoping that you would hear a little Barry White in there.
Little Barry White? Well, you do have a deep voice. You
Yeah,
could do
baby.
radio if you really wanted
Who
to.
loves you, baby?
But
I do.
look, you played with Frank Zappa, right? I mean,
I did.
I'm sensing the sense of humor, the fun coming out of these songs.
Here's the thing, you know, Stewart writes these songs, and he's got this character voice. I mean, the way he tells the songs, it's like a storyteller. And Mark and I are both singers. We've sung on millions of records. But we couldn't do what he was doing.
They were
So-
supposed to. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
I'd lay
He-
down the vocal, just, okay, that's what they're, okay, Mark, Adrian,
Yeah.
okay, your turn, get on the mic. And they'd look at me and say, no, that's the vocal.
Yeah, I would say, you know, no, wait a minute, I can't really do that the way you're doing that. So what we arrived at was Mark and I sing the choruses. You know,
Right.
like proper singers, no offense.
Actual singing.
Well, that's the other thing. People aren't used to seeing you do lead vocals, but you've been doing these ballets and operas where you have to...
Well, the whole singing thing is an accident. Not my plan. In fact, this whole rock band thing is an accident. I'm supposed to be the serious orchestral composer dude. I'm
Hanging
supposed
out
to
in Italy,
I'm
yeah.
supposed to be playing with a Vienna Symphony right now, but this rock band came and got me. And not only that, but because I was writing opera for the last 3 years, I wrote this piece which went up in Chicago. And part of writing opera is you have to sing the stuff. And during the course of singing it, you kind of learn how to hit the notes,
Right.
sort of.
And do you sing from the diaphragm? I hear that's
I
important.
don't know where I'm singing from.
Comes out of his mouth, I believe.
That's right.
And the new album, the debut album, is Gizmodrome. And Adrian, you were telling me this before. There is an instrumental version of this album coming out as well, too, right?
Yeah, this week we put up our web store. I believe it goes up tomorrow. I'll be looking for that. And one of the first offerings is going to be a thing called Rifftrax, and it's 6 songs just done instrumentally. So you can hear all the noodling stuff that we're doing underneath the vocals.
Are there going to be 12-inch remixes sent to the
There's going
clubs
to be
in
all
Ibiza?
that stuff. Oh yeah, we've already got vinyl records coming out and everything. But the proper record with the vocals, the Gizmodrome first debut record, comes out September 15th.
So did you record this like last month or something? Or like did this...
Actually, over 2 summers.
Oh, 2 summer. Okay.
We got together for about 10 days. Like Adrian said, he was duped. He thought,
Kidnapped him.
Yeah, he thought he was coming in to lay down a couple of overdubs on a Stewart record. But my plan was to make it an Adrian record and a band record, which means I can't afford these guys. So we have a band, and that's
So you bribed them with pasta.
I bribed them with pasta and music.
It's
And the other thing was that he soon realized, and Mark and Vittorio as well, that they're not playing on Stewart's record. This is their record.
yeah, it's a
And
full-on...
That's how you get the cool stuff, folks. You can't hire session players and tell them what to play to make a rock album. You got to have guys in a band.
in the studio,
Who are
working together.
Well, saying what they have to say. I mean, I can think up all kinds of cool guitar licks, but not anything like Adrian can come up with.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the reason he's in the room is not to play what I can think of, but to blow my mind with something I never would have thought of.
So it's Gizmodrome, not drone.
Yes.
So
Drome.
where does the
Thank
name
you.
come from?
Well, we started as Gizmo, which is what we were doing every summer, just playing shows in
Yeah,
Italy.
just doing
Him
Gizmo.
and Vittoria
Yeah.
started as Gizmo.
Yeah.
But when we got real and made a record, it turns out there's 10 other bands called Gizmo, so we had to come up with
Oh,
something.
you got to go on to Google.
Yeah. So
To avoid legal confrontation.
well, we were recording at Vittorio. You never even heard of Vittorio Cosma, but he's huge in Italy, and he's a major musical presence, and
Amazing.
his studio complex is quite extensive, and we recorded at his place known as the Cosmodrome.
Oh my! Oh,
Okay,
perfect.
get it?
Yeah,
Get
there
it?
we go.
There you go.
And that's in Milan, right? The
Yeah,
studio.
Yeah.
So you guys brought some guitars. Again, it's strange to see Stewart with an axe, but he's loving it. He's doing his Pete Townsend thing right now.
Well, actually, Adrian plays all the real guitar. I just get to do the guitar face.
the power chords.
I want to
Yeah.
mention something. When we play live next year, that's the plan, as soon as we get a rehearsal done this year, Stewart will sometimes play drums and sometimes be the front
Okay.
man with a Stratocaster and a big Marshall stack behind him.
Oh, huge.
I get 2 Marshall
Yeah,
stacks.
two
You get
Marshall stacks. Oh, my gosh.
It is going to be a wall
Side
of
fills.
Marshall.
Do
I'm
some
gonna
side
have-
fills.
Baby, I've been waiting for this.
I'm going to have
coming
6
home.
Marshall stacks,
I got
but I'm
my
not going to have them turned
Stratocaster.
on.
That's the thing. You don't need those anymore.
I'm not
but
going to have them
I
turned
don't
on.
care.
They'll just be there.
You want them anyway, damn it.
I'm going to have a crew member behind each stack. So when I bump into them and knock them over, they're going to catch them. I'm going to set fire to those things.
And you got to have the dry ice machine too. Follow you wherever you go.
Look,
You
we
hear
are
this?
old
There's
school.
no amp in this
Yeah.
room. Hear this? There's no amp in this room.
Check this out. There's no guitarist in this room.
All right, so you brought these axes, and we got the pedals plugged in and everything. You want to play a song for us?
Sure.
Tell us about this one, and then just go for it.
This is a little song about life gone wrong. Don't try this at home, folks. And if you follow this song and your life goes to rack and ruin, don't blame this song.
And the song is called...
Summer's coming.
Summer's coming, gonna burn my feet. This tour has cut me loose all week. Gonna get a hotel room in New Orleans. I'm a roller coaster in G. Might check out New York and Chattanooga. At the many ways to screw up, I could write the book. You can drop me in London town. I know where trouble can always be found. North of the river and south of the plague, east of the castle and west of the grave, up from the earth and down from heaven, alongside the idol of every transgression.
Summer's coming.
God only knows what I might do.
Summer's coming.
They never should have let me loose from the zoo.
Summer's coming.
God only knows what I might do.
Summer's coming.
They never should have let me loose from the zoo. Summer's coming, gonna burn my feet. This tour has cut me loose all week down in Rio de Janeiro. Maybe take off my clothes, maybe dance me some foro, 'cause anything goes. I'm just looking for Babylon. Might make a few mistakes, maybe paddle up the Amazon and slither with the snakes. Might just fire up that Harley and throw it around some curves and open up that throttle just to steady my neck.
Summer's coming.
God only knows what I might do.
Summer's coming.
They never should have let me loose from the zoo.
Summer's coming.
Up from the earth and down from heaven, alongside the idols of every transgression.
Summer's coming.
Bombs away in old Bombay might fall astray for days and days and days and days. Ha!
Wait, so did you write that last summer or this summer? Because we're in summer right now.
Many summers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the cool thing is when I arrived at the studio, what happened? They'd been Vittorio and Stewart had been writing songs each summer and just putting them in a little cookie jar.
Yeah, yeah.
And not doing anything with them. So, we arrived and they had all these songs sitting there and they put up, here's a little song. What about this one? We'd butcher it to death and turn it inside out and there it would be.
Well, one thing we did, one band rule is to dispense with the sanctity of the composer, which means that just because I wrote, and of course in my mind, it's all completely pristine, like Stairway to Heaven. It's perfect. But I knew that whatever perfection I had in my head, that Mr. Belew is going to come up with something way better.
And melt your face off.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
man.
Summer's Coming is not a melt your face off song. It's hopefully the first
You
single.
were melting my face with those riffs you were playing
Oh,
just
thank you.
now.
But there's
Come
a
on.
lot of songs that will.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that on there.
The band is Gizmodrome. It's Adrian Belew and Stewart Copeland. And, of course, Mark King from Level 42 on bass, Vittorio Cosma on keyboards. And the main question is, you are going to tour?
We are indeed. We have a plan to rehearse probably in Milan
Oh, nice.
again, so we can have a lot of fun in pasta. And then we may do a debut in Japan.
Okay.
That's being looked at now. And if so, that would be maybe even in December or January, and then we'll go from there. Once we've worked up our material and we've got this guy in some funny looking suit at the front with a pink strap.
Yeah.
And
And a little more work learning how to sing in tune. That might help.
Hey, we can get you an auto tuner,
Yeah.
Oh, no, don't do that, please.
I've never even used one.
No,
so.
that's why I do the talking blues thing, because I don't have to actually hit notes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's where the Barry
So
manifold
then in the
comes
choruses, I shut up, okay? Well, my singing's kind of hit and miss, but these guys are for real actual singers.
Yeah.
And
I
so-
must admit, I really miss Mark's beautiful voice singing the harmonies. Summer's coming.
Yeah, no, it sounds
It's
good.
a little Beach
Yeah,
Boy
yeah.
type thing we got me and
Yeah.
Mark.
Absolutely. The band Gizmodrome, Stewart Copeland, Adrian Belew, Mark King, Vittorio Cosma, the new album, the self-titled debut, Gizmodrome. All right, Stewart, the interview was going great, but I got to ask you two police questions. Hopefully they're not the ones you think they are. Number one, you guys were offered $9 million for Desert Trip or something like
Every
that?
time I read that, it's a bigger number.
Oh, it is.
Oh, we're at 9 million, are we? Okay, cool.
Oh,
If we
okay.
hold out for a couple more years, it'll be 20 million.
Right, exactly. And here's the other question. I want to know what happened to that van that you shared with Squeeze on the first tour of America.
That van is probably crunched up to the size of a suitcase right now.
Right. So,
God knows, but that's a good question. And yes, I weep a tear in memory of that van, and also the station wagon that we
Oh.
drove around in. A Chevy of some kind, with Chevy
Right.
with wood panels, fake wood panels on the side. It was a fake Woody, but that's cool because we were a fake punk band.
so what happened first? Squeeze toured America. They went to JFK. You guys got off the plane,
Exactly.
got in the van,
We
and then
picked up not only the van, but the amps, and I brought my own drums.
oh, okay,
But the van had the amps in it. And in fact, I got a day early because since I'm American,
yeah,
I
yeah,
could get in easy. But the other two guys in the band, Sting and Andy, are British.
right.
And so they came in the next day. And I picked them up in the car, drove them from JFK to CBGB's.
That's right, the first gig,
Straight,
right?
didn't even check in the hotel. Drove straight to the first gig at CBGB's in the Bowery.
Like 5 o'clock sound check,
Which,
something
by
like
the
that.
way, gosh darn, is pretty fancy these days. The
Yeah, I
Bowery
know.
is like expensive real estate now.
Yeah, it's
It
like
wasn't
cafes
then.
and clothing stores and
Yeah.
banks and everything like that.
I think
But
I think the CBGB's is now a Varvatos or
yes,
something.
yeah. He still kept like the bathroom and the posters and,
Oh, the
and
worst
things
parts.
like that.
It was not a great club. It was not any great place where you'd walk in and say, "Whoa, this is it." It was pretty crap.
But I thought that like no, it was really crappy to walk into, but somehow they managed to make every band sound pretty good in there with that sound system, even though like the band might not be good. Like the guy behind the board was pretty good. I don't
guess
even know
so.
his name, but
Well, in
It's
our
simple.
case-
You just turn them all the way up.
well, Sting and Andy had to walk in there to strange amps they had never seen before. They walk up. They,
oh, rentals, right?
They,
Yeah.
They plug in. No, it was the same amps that Squeeze used.
Oh,
they
oh,
in,
it
they
was the
plug in, turn around. Hello, America.
Wow, unbelievable. I got to ask you, Adrian, a question about Frank Zappa, because I had Steve Vai in here, and he's told me the story that, like, Frank would do a record, then he would chart everything out, and he'd hand it to the musicians, and they'd go, you want me to play what, where, when, how? Like his charts were like really insane, right?
Aha. You're asking the wrong guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm one of the very, very few who worked with Frank for all that time and did not read music. Still don't read little dots.
See, that's amazing to me to watch you play and you don't know how to read.
Well,
I don't know how to read.
I'm
but,
self-taught.
yeah.
But here's what happened. So we had 3 months of rehearsal in L.A., 5 days a week, very long, 10-hour day. And then on Friday, Frank said, "Will you get in the car with me and you're coming home with me? Sit down in my basement studio with me and we'll learn what's coming up for the next week." So for 3 months, every weekend, I lived in the Zappa residence, and that's how I learned the songs by rote. Then on Monday morning, when he passed out the sheet music to everyone, I was already kind of started.
You're already plugged in. Fantastic.
That's
Guys,
how I ended up doing a Bob Dylan imitation for him, because one time he was showing me a new song that he was writing, and people don't know this about Frank necessarily, but he couldn't really play guitar and sing at the same time. He wasn't good at that.
Yeah.
So when he played this little song for me, it sounded like a bad folk song. So I started making fun of it by singing like Bob Dylan. I ask as nice as I could if my job would somehow be finished by Friday.
It's going up your poop chute.
It's going up your poop chute, Bobby. And Frank loved it, put the show, of course.
Oh, man. Fantastic. Guys, what a pleasure to have you in here. Thank you so much. I'm honored that Gizmodrome debuted here on our radio show and on our Facebook.
Well, half of us.
Yeah, half of you, 50% of the band. We'll get the entire band in here next time. And please let us know when the New York City date is going to be. And
there'll be many of them in the future.
we'll be out there and force it. Madison Square Garden.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, we
that'd
got
be
to start
beautiful.
just for tradition. We'll start at CBGB's.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's do that.
We'll start at CBGB's, buy ourselves some cool duds, and then go play the garden.
No, he's got to give you the duds, dude. You're gonna play there. He's got to, he's got to like give you some clothing,
Pay us some
First
duds.
we
little
have-
wardrobe action.
First,
yeah.
we have to find that damn van, though. We've got to find the van.
Oh,
We got to
yeah.
drive. We got to repeat history here, folks.
Get back in the van, guys.
Get
Thank you
back
so
in
much.
the van.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.